So I've been wearing contact lenses for 21 years now, and I just really felt like it was time to consider all my options. My eyes had gotten really dry, so I was paying for very expensive contacts, overnight lenses or dailies, just for the extra moisture. And then I had started having to take my contacts out at the end of the day and wear glasses at night. And it just wasn't quite as convenient as contacts had been for me in the past. I also love the idea of being able to travel without all of the things that you need when you need contacts and glasses, you know, your lenses, your cleaner, eye drops, and your glasses and your cases, all of those things. So I felt like it was time to look at some other options. So I did hear about Piedmont Eye Center, and they have the iLasik procedure, which is an all-laser procedure. They also offer a free evaluation, so I was very excited about that. I could go in and get the full evaluation without having to be financially tied to actually getting the procedure done. So that was appealing to me too. I could find out if I was a candidate without, money out of pocket. And they also have financing options, which I thought was really intriguing as well. So I figured, why not go ahead and start the process? One concern that I had going into this process was, what if I'm not a candidate? I'll get super excited and financially be ready to make the decision, and what if I'm not a candidate? So that was a little bit scary, because that just meant that I had no options and I was stuck in glasses or contacts. So that was scary. Obviously, surgery on your eye, that's extremely scary, and it's a surgery that you're completely awake for. So those things were very, very scary. And I was nervous, what if they mess up? I had people asking me, are you gonna do one eye first and let that heal and then do the other eye? And I was like, well, no, I'm not gonna do that, but should I think about that? Like, am I gonna go blind? So it was a little scary just kind of thinking about a major surgery like this on your eyes, because if something did go wrong, that's a major life-changing thing. But the staff at Piedmont Eye were fantastic and just really helped me understand that the risks are there, but they're minimal. So that was definitely a major concern. Another concern is totally selfish. You can't wear makeup. You have to wear your glasses, and you can't wear contacts for a full 3 weeks before. So that's just, vain and selfish. I'm sure you saw in a lot of my vlog videos that I was sans makeup for a lot of them. And I like this video, I'm post-surgery and actually get to wear my eye makeup. I had to go in for an evaluation, and it was a 1.5, 2 hour, I can't remember exactly, appointment, and mostly with Debbie, and she is fantastic. She's just so sweet and just walks you through the whole process, talks a lot about the surgery throughout. There's several different tests that have to be done. I had to get a full dilation that day, and of course Dr. Bowers, did an evaluation of my eyes, and they just needed to make sure that I was a candidate, which thankfully I was. They also had a video that they had me watch that just talked through the risks and kind of walked through the procedure and how each step is done, which is really good for me. It made me a little bit more nervous. In some ways, I kind of wanted to just walk into surgery without knowing at all what was going to happen, so I didn't have anything to be nervous about. But in another way, it was good to know what steps I would be going through, and that Dr. Bowers would be doing on my eyes during the surgery. So that was really good too. So throughout the process, the two primary people that I've seen, although the entire staff is really nice, all the technicians are very wonderful, but Dr. Bowers and Debbie were the primary people that I saw over and over. And Dr. Bowers is very patient and kind. He's thorough, he'll answer your questions, and he's very passionate about LASIK and eye health. And so that was really good to just have somebody that I felt like I could trust was giving me an honest look at the process. And then Debbie is just very, very sweet, and I even several times throughout the process gave her a quick call with a question, and she was always willing to call me back and answer my questions. So she was really great during the process as well. To talk a little bit about surgery day, I went to work like normal and just left a little early to head over to Piedmont Eye Center for the surgery in the afternoon. The surgery itself, it only takes it's less than 20 minutes. But you do have to get there, you're there for a couple hours and just kind of filling out final paperwork and doing drops and getting some relaxation medication, things like that, and just talking through the final pieces before you actually go into the treatment room. So I went and I did that, and of course I had my husband with me so that he could be there with me and drive me home. So walking into the treatment room was actually a little terrifying. When they open the door, everything seems to change. The sound changes, the temperature changes. It's a very weird experience. Plus walking down the hallway without my glasses, I was, completely couldn't see anything. Everything was blurry. But also, when you go into the room, even though I couldn't really see, everyone welcomed me, and it felt very inviting, and they were going to be taking care of me, and they really knew what they were doing. And Debbie guided me over and got me ready for surgery. I had to wear a nice little eye patch on one eye while they're working on the other eye, and then they switch it to the other eye. And right before they laid me back on the table, they gave me this eyeball. It's like one of those stress balls. And so I remember throughout the surgery, just squeezing the heck out of that stress ball. But I laid on back, and they got started with the procedure. And like I said, it's very, very short in terms of the procedure, but it is scary and intense. I won't deny that for anybody who's thinking about getting it. It is scary, but it's worth it in the end. Anyway, so they laid me on back, and there's a few steps that they have to do to create the flap. And so first they do a lid speculum, and it just basically keeps your eyelids from blinking, because that was one of my worries, that I was going to blink during the surgery and ruin the whole thing. And then they also put a suction on your eye, and again, another worry, oh my gosh, my eyes are going to move. What if they put the laser somewhere where it's not supposed to be? But they have all of those things in place to keep your eye still so that they can create the flap. So once they create the flap, then the lasers do their work and correct your vision. And that itself is so fast, it almost feels like they forgot to do it. But yeah, so they just do that on both eyes, and then they just make sure you're feeling okay. And throughout the whole time, they're doing different drops and stuff to make sure that your eyes are ready for the procedure and going through the procedure well. And then they set you up and make sure that you're feeling okay. And then they walk you back to your room and give you a little bit of time to kind of settle. And they come in and they check and they make sure everything is laid back down, the flap's laid back down properly. So they really make sure to just keep an eye on you during that entire time. And it is a little weird. I literally could see when they were done with the surgery. Now my eyes were sore and all of those things and numb, but I could see. It was really cool. So even though I could see, the rest of the day was a little terrible. And they tell you ahead of time. They give you some Tylenol PM, but I didn't actually take the Tylenol PM right away because it wasn't bedtime, and I have small children, and I just figured it was going to be loud in the house, and I would just wait and take the Tylenol PM when I got, closer to bedtime and after I'd eaten some dinner. That was a bad decision. So what you need to do after surgery is go home, close your eyes, and fall asleep. So I stayed awake for a little bit, and my eyes just started burning so badly. It literally felt like I had just cut a 5-pound bag of onions. So you do need to rest your eyes, and that night is a little bit painful. But if you fell asleep, you wouldn't have I would not have noticed. So that's why they recommend that you go home and you just take a nap. So a few hours after surgery, and I was home and settled, I had just put in some eye drops, and Dr. Bowers gave me a call on my cell phone to check on me and make sure that I was feeling okay and everything was going well. So that was really good, just to know, if I was having any issues, I wouldn't have to go through that. Well, should I call them? Do they have an emergency number? What should I do? Dr. Bowers called me right on my cell phone. So I was able to just kind of talk to him for a minute and then go on to sleep for the night. Although that night was a little rough, the next morning I woke up and I really felt fantastic. I wasn't in pain anymore like the onions. And I looked outside and just looked in the yard, and I everything was crisp and clear. I could see every little leaf on the tree. So it's really fantastic. And I had talked to other people before I did LASIK, and they said that they just couldn't believe that, you'd worn glasses and contacts and had this blurriness when not wearing one of those for so long, and then they had LASIK, and then the next day, all of a sudden, they could see everything without any glasses or contacts. So that was a really cool experience. So here I am 6 months after having my LASIK surgery, and I've had several appointments throughout the process. They have you come in the morning after, a week after, a month after, and then 6 months after, and everything has gone very smoothly. And again, the staff is so sweet. And they just go in and they check and make sure that everything's healing properly, that your vision is nice and clear still, and make sure that you don't have any issues. They've been very sweet throughout, and I've had questions about headaches or nighttime driving and things like that, and they've just encouraged me to continue telling them what's going on and continue to use rewetting drops. So it's really been a great process, and I'm very happy with the results.